Hey, this is Ryder from Backwoods Bass,
This is Preston from Backwoods Bass.
and today we're gonna have a video on our favorite lures to use during the spawn. All right, first, one of my top favorites has to be just a regular ribbon-tail worm. For clear water, I would like to use a watermelon red flake. That's because it's so natural, or like a darker kind of color. And how I fish it, and in dark water, I like to use like a really bright tail, so like a pink tail or like a chartreuse tail works really good, or orange tail. My favorite brand would have to be Berkeley Power Bait. Those are my favorite. I caught a lot of fish last spawn with those. And how I use them is I Texas rig them and I throw them out there and I just pop it and then just wait and pop it again, probably 2 times, and then the fish, if you're fishing on the bed, they'll definitely bite it.
Alright, so I like fishing topwater frogs or soft body frogs a lot, like these that I have over here. But I saw this Lunker Hunter topwater frog, soft body. I saw this at Academy and I just had to get it because it's pretty cool looking. It looked like it worked in just creeks and lakes that I like. But this looks like it worked really good in spawn. And today I fished this for about 4 hours, or no, I fished this for about, I'd say about two hours with this before I changed to a jig. But I fished this and I didn't get anything. I got 1 bite and it looked like a really small bass, but honestly it didn't do so well as I thought it would. But I'll give it another try later.
Alright, back to his soft body frogs. I was using this today, this H2O Express with a white and orange bottom. I bought it and I didn't think very much of it. I didn't think I was gonna be using it a lot. But my friend Preston here, he caught like a 2 or 3 pounder on him last weekend, and today we went out to our topwater lake and we threw it. I literally had a 7 pounder on the line on this and I lost it on the bank, but I caught 2 or 3 good fish today on this.
I like fishing rattle traps a lot because there's this golf course that we go to in our neighborhood, and it was my first time. Well, my friends have been going there for probably about a month or so, but I haven't been able to get out there. So when I did, they told me to bring rattle traps. I brought this rattle trap right here, this chrome rattle trap. It worked really good. Just slow reeling, cast out to deep waters and reeling into the bank. I caught probably about 4 or 5 bass on this within the hour. So this is my go-to rattle trap.
Alright, probably my second or third favorite bait to throw during spawn, if I'm searching for the bass and I don't know where they are yet, or say if I'm going to a brand new pond or a brand new lake and I don't know where they are, I like fishing a chatterbait. Chatterbaits are really good for searching to find where they are, because this and spinnerbaits are really good for that. I just like to use chatterbaits because I feel like they're better if you're trying to find them in cover, or if the bottom of the lake has like grass or like some type of cover down there. I like using chatterbaits because spinnerbaits, they usually get stuck. That's from my experience. But I like using just a chatterbait with a type of like swim bait, with the type of like swimming soft plastic on the back of it. It works really well for me.
Okay, I bought this hula popper really recently at Academy because it was on sale and I just couldn't let it go. But honestly, I've never fished with a hula popper once in my life.
I have.
But like on the box, like I know I'm probably falling for it, but it says like the world's best topwater or whatever. But I have never seen anyone in my life ever catch a bass or any type of fish on a hula popper. So, well, I've never seen anyone catch a bass. But I'm sure they work good, but I honestly don't know, because I'd rather use a soft body frog than a hula popper, because that's just the way I am. But hey, I'm sorry if I offended you with the my hula popper hating, but that's just me.
Alright, that's his opinion on the hula popper. I love the hula popper, not gonna lie. I use this every single time that I go to my ranch at about like 4 or 5 o'clock. or really early in the morning or later in the afternoon before the sun goes down, I would throw this. If you're fishing kind of later or really early in the morning, I totally recommend the hula popper, especially in spawn or in the summer. I caught so many bass on a hula popper. Maybe not this exotic color, but more natural color. They will definitely catch the fish. He hasn't used it that much. He just got one, and and around here where we live, we usually don't really use them that much in our ponds. But whenever I go to my ranch, definitely have to have a hula popper.
So you had another Academy topwater I bought just recently. I have a bunch of torpedo jitterbugs, like those old, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're kind of like look like tubes or whatever. Those work okay for me. I've caught a few bass on them, but I saw this one right here, this baby bass, look kind of the crankbait shape, but it had some torpedoes on the front and the back, and when I saw it first, I thought it was a crankbait. I was like, okay, this is a pretty unique looking crankbait, but then I saw it was a topwater, and I just couldn't let it go. And I have yet to cast out with it, but it honestly looks like it worked really good early mornings, about 6 or 7 when the water's flat and icy. So, H2O Express topwater, haven't used it, but it looks like it worked.
Alright. Also in spawn, if I'm fishing at a place that has more like shad type of fish that are living there, bait fish that are living there, I definitely use a swim bait.
Okay, I just bought this Strike King jig at Academy. I actually recently just bought about 4 or 5 Strike King jigs, but because my friend really just got, because when we went bass fishing, he caught about 4 or 5 bass on these Strike King jigs, and so this is probably one of my favorites. That when I went fishing, he let me borrow his football head jig, and so I went and bought one of these. So I haven't used this one specifically, but I know these do work in like medium depth lakes and stuff. You just bounce them off the bottom, and you'll guaranteed to get bass on them. So this is what my review on the Strike King jigs.
And another thing about these jigs, the color selection. I really like to match the jig to the type of water that I have. So if say in Texas, there's really a lot of crawfish, and in Louisiana there's a lot of crawfish. So I'd be throwing a bait kind of like this color with a little red, or like a green color, because you know crawfish turn different colors throughout the year. So that's my bait on those colored jigs. And then my all-time favorite spawn bass bait would have to be Zoom 6-inch lizard. Definitely. You find that bed, you throw a Zoom 6-inch lizard, you will catch that fish. The bass hate lizards. They absolutely hate them because they will go up to the beds and they will eat the eggs, and the big bass will protect their eggs, and they will just devour the bait. That's my favorite bass bait for spawn.
Okay guys, we'll be right back. Hey guys, we're back now from eating pizza that we got, and we're gonna carry on with our lures.
Alright, back to what I was saying on topwaters. I really recommend during spawn that you fish them in the morning and in the afternoon. Like this bait, it's pretty good. It's kind of translucent with some rattles in it. It's a really good topwater. And also, like, I like to use rattle traps, like we said before. This is a really good color. They're like...
This is an H2O Express rattle trap. Just in case you want to go get one. Really recommend this rattle trap. Just saying, because it is a really good rattle trap.
That color and the sexy shad color. All right. Also, back to the jigs. All right. Here's what I like to say about jigs. I catch fish on jigs, but not as often as I would catch fish. This is for the spawn, of course. Catch as many fish as I do on soft body frogs. I catch a lot more on soft body frogs than jigs. I really recommend using jigs whenever you've tried everything and they're not biting anything, or they're down deep, or you found a bed. But I'd use a lizard instead of a jig on a bed. But really, jigs I think are better in the winter. I mean, they're an all-around good bait for all year, but I recommend just throwing them in the winter pre-spawn. Not really spawn. That's what I think.
Also, crankbaits, in my opinion, are probably going to be my go-to if it's not like, if it doesn't have a bunch of like weeds or like just anything that'll get hung up. I'll go to a crankbait just right off the bat. Right when I get to wherever I'm fishing, I'm going to put on a crankbait. Because honestly, they're probably like the most mainstream lure you could ever fish with, but they're probably the best, like, they're
They
probably,
catch fish.
yeah, they catch fish, and probably my recommended is the crankbait H2O Express. So stock up on these.
Alright, here's what I have to say about if you're not fishing a pond or you're not fishing a lake, say you're fishing like a reservoir or like a creek maybe, or like a bayou, I'd recommend not throwing a crankbait really, unless it's kind of deep. If there's like deep pockets in there, I'd recommend doing that. I wouldn't throw a frog either. Just my opinion, because I don't know, I've never had any luck on frogs in like creeks and bayous like that, so I wouldn't throw these. I also would not throw a topwater. Maybe tell us in the comments if you've ever caught any fish in creeks or bayous in topwaters or frogs, because I haven't had any luck. I just wanted to see if you had some feedback on that. But I definitely recommend throwing soft plastics, like a lizard, ribbon tail. But my all-time favorite for fishing those types of water, it would have to be a stick bait or a trick worm. Because a couple days ago, I caught a couple fish on a Zoom June bug trick worm. They were biting that really good. And also a like 5-inch Yum Dinger or a Gary Yamamoto if you're rich, because they're really expensive baits, and I would not recommend paying $7 for a pack whenever you could get like big bite baits, trick sticks, or like whatever you feel like getting. I'd recommend that instead of Yamamoto's, because it's a waste of money. They might be softer and people say they're better, but I don't believe that. But if I'm fishing a creek, bayou, I definitely recommend using a worm type bait, my favorite, and it will catch fish for you, I guarantee it.
And yeah, that's like what he was saying. You definitely want to go to like soft plastics or whatever when you're in spawn, because most of the time you're not going to catch as many fish as you would like using a hard bait or anything during the spawn if you got like soft plastics in your like tackle box or whatever. So definitely go to like softer baits, or like just like frogs or lizards or whatever, like what we were saying earlier. Just that's really what works best in the spawn in our opinion. But
we're not trying to say that crankbaits and rattle traps won't work, because we already said they do work. They still eat bait fish during the spawn. They definitely do. Just like this, they always eat those. But what they're going to be eating the most is because they're protecting
their eggs.
Yeah, they're protecting their eggs from creatures like lizards and crawfish trying to like get their baits, and also like bluegill. Bass absolutely hate bluegill. They don't like them at all. So they will eat bluegill color baits and stuff like that.
Definitely. But yeah, whenever you're spawn fishing, just go whatever you think's best. Like, we're not like trying to like persuade you to do whatever. Like, if you like using rattle traps and spawn, use rattle traps spawn. But this is just our opinion.
And also the bass will be kind of shallower during spawn. They won't be as deep because
they'll be on the beds.
Yeah, because they come from pre-spawn and kind of like in the winter, they're in the deep pockets during that time. And then once it starts warming up and they start spawning, they go to their beds. and that's where they lay their eggs. And if you see that in the water during spawn in the springtime, definitely throw some type of creature into those beds, because you can see them. They're like little divots in the ground. If you throw this, definitely the mom will protect the babies and will try to eat whatever is trying to eat her eggs.
Mm-hmm. And like you were saying, like if you got any neighborhood lakes or ponds or creeks or whatever, and you're with someone who doesn't like know they're bass fishing or whatever, and you're in the spring, you'll see like the little little beds or whatever, like right on the edge of the lake or wherever you're fishing. You'll be able to see where they are, and you'll see like the bass just sitting there, and you're not. Some of y'all are gonna be like casting deep water, like, oh, these fish are sick or sleeping or whatever you think, but they're actually they're protecting their eggs. So you're probably gonna want to step back farther down the bank or wherever you're fishing and cast right there and just pop it along the bank.
Oh yeah, and also, what I have to say on fishing the edges, like on the beds, I would use a
Keep going. Alright,
we're
ready?
gonna cut that part out.
Go.
I would definitely use if you see beds, I would use a bait called the super fluke, because if you throw it right out there, they're gonna want to eat it. Because they're eating a lot during spawn. That's why that's every angler's time of year that they want to fish is during spawn, because the fish are gonna be so aggressive, and they're gonna eat a lot more than they do during the winter. I guarantee it. If you think, okay, fishing's not that great, I'm not getting any bites, I'm not catching any fish, maybe because you're fishing at the wrong time in the year. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, you're gonna catch fish. You can catch fish year round, but the best time that I think, and a lot of people think, is during spawn, during the springtime, whenever it's kind of warm. That's whenever they're gonna be eating the most, probably out of the year.
Mm-hmm. So, for all you high school or middle school anglers, take advantage of spring break and wake up early and go catch some bass, because it's probably going to be the best time of the year to do so. But that's all I have for spawn fishing. And do you have anything else you want to say?
Oh yeah, one more thing on the creeks and bayous and reservoirs. I'd have to say that if you think it holds fish, it probably does. Because the creek right next to my house, I never thought there was fish in there, because it was probably only like 2 feet deep, 3 feet deep, kind of shallow. At some points in the creek, I didn't think there was going to be any fish. Whenever I was on my way to go to a pond that my friends were fishing at the time, I say, okay, I'm going to throw a line in there and see if there's any fish. Didn't think anything of it. Second cast, fish on. I'm telling you, if you think a place holds fish, fish there. Definitely during spawn, because the fish might die out during the winter, but there might be a couple still left, and there will be fish to catch, I guarantee it.
So is that all you want to say?
Yeah, and that concludes our video. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching, and shout out to
our sponsor that we just got. Their company is called Big Sexy Baits. You should definitely go check them out. We're going to have a link in the description. They have great baits, I'm telling you guys. They're custom-made, hand-pour lures, and custom-made cranks, rattle traps, handmade spinner baits. Yeah, all types of worms. They have brush hogs, everything that you can think of. They are really, really good baits. They might be a small company, but I say some of their lures are way better than some that are on the market, like in stores right now.
So, yeah, be sure to check them out.
We're gonna have some videos coming up, like an unboxing. They're sending us some baits. We're gonna do an unboxing video probably. If we don't, then we'll talk about some of the baits during some of our other videos. But yeah, we just wanted to shout out Big Sexy Baits. Check
Link
them
in the
out.
description. Yeah, thanks for watching. This concludes our video.